This is Van Electric Ghost, and this episode is Peg Talks Social Distortion. Anomie, You Don't Rule Me. So I was a sociology major when I went to Bowdoin College back in the day, back in the the late 80s, graduated around 1990. I studied Weber, and I studied a lot of concepts like anomie. And for those of you who don't know the sociology terminology, from Merriam Webster, anomie is social instability resulting from a breakdown of standards and values, personal unrest, alienation, and anxiety that comes from a lack of purpose or ideals. As I said in this episode, to me, this is a reflection of the Trump age, this sociological term. So last night, what we like to do is a lot of times we'll do a Facebook Live performance with our hardware workflow, and we right from our Studio A. And on our Studio A, we've got all these hardware, analog and digital synths. Our latest acquisition is the Moog GrandMother. And what we did last night is we did what we would normally do for a live show, but sometimes we do like a pre-live show and we work something out. So we were working out some very heavy modulation with our grandmother. Up to this point on our grandmother, we hadn't really done a lot of lead lines or lead focused songs. We did do a song yesterday called Soul to F Hard, and that featured a 3 oscillator Moog bass line and a heavy use of the spring reverb and some heavy modulation that we used for that with the LFOs as well. What we did last night is we went and broke down and we figured out how to use the high pass filter and the low pass filter at the same time. We used, in addition to LFO very heavily, and we used the attenuators or attenuverters very heavily in the mix, along with the spring reverb, to do a very complicated hardwired CV patching, kind of our own. When we're reading about the high pass filter, we're reading about the attenuverters, we're reading about, using the CP3 mixer and kind of overloading the system, and the uses of the spring reverb and how you can go directly into the VCA and override some things. So we were playing with some heavy Moog stuff there. And we got some really interesting modulation going on. And so we decided to do a live focused show where our drum machine is the JDXI Roland drum machines running through a BeatStep Pro, which is this technique we've been using since 2016. We also used the Roland Juno Gi to do a heavy keytar that we like to play manually. So we created this strange modulation patch, and we had it running through the sequencer. And then we also did some overrides where we manually played some things in terms of, like, we used our arpeggiator to manually play the intro. And then we switched to the sequencer to go through this strange modulation thing that is very interesting. It's put it on random, and it does a lot of strange ups and downs and real heaviness and, very sharp metallic sounds. And the spring reverb really adds to that. And we use that kind of dissonance to represent the idea of anomie, which again is the social instability resulting from the breakdown of standards and values. And then we kind of took the idea of this sonic and anomie. And Josephine is kind of raging about, there's these ideas in your head. You go to some rally and you speak it out in a rally, and it's a hate speech, or it's like very offensive, or it's actually maybe political speech and it's offensive to the other people. So there's different types of people who get offended by different things. Like, people might say when they want freedom for people sexuality, and that offends people who are, sexual, like prudes, and they don't want to hear that. So, and then they might be people like, well, I don't want to have any immigrants coming in the country because I'm xenophobic. And if you try to say that you want to allow sanctuary city, then they find that offensive. So, what's somebody's offense is another person's badge of honor. And so in this idea in this modern Trump age, there's a breakdown in standards and values. And there's a lot of personal unrest and alienation that's causing people to have resentment. And Josephine is talking about the Anomie and says she's not going to let it rule her. She's going to take that rage and power and passion and kind of implement it. And she's saying, she's going to get the poor folks to go up against the rich folks, which at the end of the day, a lot of times when you study sociology, you'll find that there's a lot of uses of social dynamics to kind of disrupt the rabble rousers or the peasants, or the people who are in the lower economic areas, and get them to be, fighting themselves rather than realizing that it's the rich folks that are actually controlling everything. So they'd rather have an immigrant attack another immigrant or a minority attack another minority than to actually look at the rich man and say, well, he's the one that's actually setting this up and he's the one that's causing the trouble. And, you don't get a French Revolution every day. But the issue is, a lot of times the people at the upper strata are actually manipulating the chessboard and we're the pawns, and, and we're not actually realizing that the kings and queens are running everything. And so that is, what Josephine's talking about in this song, and it's a big workout. It's a 14-minute song that normally would be like a live show, and we actually recorded what would have been a live show. And we really were able to work out a lot of interesting things with the grandmother. There's a lot of sonic power in the arpeggiator that you can live override, allowed it to do a lot of interesting runs. And, at the end, we did some really, at the very end of the song, we did some really interesting kind of pitch bending along with the reverb that you get to hear a lot of aspects of this machine. It's just constantly evolving what you can do. We're in the process of integrating it with our DFAM and our Mother 32 and our Make Noise Mats module and our Make Noise Morphogene. We want to see what happens when we take a Morphogene sample and run it through the reverb, the spring reverb, and run it through the filter, the CP3 mixer, because that would probably really change a sample. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this machine. And we're happy that our unboxing hit over 2,000 an impact on our Facebook. When we did our Facebook presentation of our unboxing video, it's got a really good reception. It's reached over 2,000 people, over 700 views. And some of our latest songs that we've done on the Moog are hitting a pretty good response. One of the latest songs that we did called Anomie, You Don't Rule Me, which is this song, on our Facebook reached 692 people. So that's pretty cool. And then, as I said, our unboxing video has had really good reception, and we've hit pretty good numbers on that as well. So our unboxing video has 885 views, and over 2,659 people have been reached. And then some of the other songs we've written with the new grandmother are doing very well in terms of their impact and the influence on the net. We're starting to get some good numbers on our Facebook with our latest material, which is very cool because it shows the power of this Moog. It has a lot of power, and a lot of people are interested in hearing it because it cuts through the mix. Is another reason why people are like, this is a new analog age, when Moog kind of came back to life and started to go beyond the Voyager and the Mini Moog and create these new machines. Like one of the other songs we did, which is a really interesting song, is Bondage Fetish Grooves, and that's hit over 98 people on Facebook, and for us that's pretty good. But the big numbers are reaching over 2,000 with the actual unboxing video, and then some of the other the latest song, which is Anomie You Don't Rule Me, is over almost 700 views, which is pretty interesting. And we use digital synths. If you look at our JDXI and our Juno and our System 1M, they're digital. We have a Teenage Engineering OPZ. However, the Moogs really cut through the mix. Since we got the grandmother, and since we've had the DFAM, and we've had the other, the Mother 32 in Arturia, we've been able to do some very interesting things. And like I said, part of the reason I guess analog synths got kind of supplanted by the DX7 was they're so heavy in the mix, some people didn't know how to deal with them. And in terms of like recording engineers, they felt it was like too heavy, and they liked the kind of more subtle nature of the DX7 and the D50. And so then the analog synth started to disappear in the mixes of things. You started hearing nothing but the DX7s and D50s and the Chronoses later and stuff like that. And that's kind of disappointing because the sound that you get in the 80s and the sound of the 70s are the big modular Moogs, the System 1s and 2s and 3s and 33s and 55s, the Roland System 500 and Roland System 100 and SH5s, SH3s, SH7s, Prophet 5s, Oberheims. These are sounds that really make the song. They're just like a Fender or a Stratocaster or any kind of great guitar, like a Rickenbacker or something like from the Byrds. Immediately you know it's the Byrds or Tom Petty. And same thing when you hear a Prophet 5 or you hear a Mini Moog or you hear like a Poly Moog on the song Cars. You immediately can identify that, or the Lucky Man solo from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. You immediately can key on that, and you know what kind of synth that is. And today, with all these plugins, you probably don't know what it is. So I think having something like a grandmother, you can tell in this song, it's nothing that you've heard with somebody's plugin or Fruity Loops or some other thing. It is an authentic analog, real instrument. And that might offend people who have their Macs, but the thing I would argue for somebody with a Mac is that you probably spent like $2,000 on your Mac. You could have bought a synth. And if you're a musician, having one good synth and a recording solution can do a lot of damage and gives you some authentic sounds that you really can't get from the DAW. And you hear a lot today in a lot of electronic music, you hear the same thing over and over. Just like in even some hip hop, you hear the same thing over and over because they're using the same loops, they're using the same beats. I was just approached by a beat collective because I have a unique approach where I create my own tones with these analog machines or my own beats through hardware synths rather than DAWs. And that's a limitation in some ways because I don't have all the MIDI information that somebody might need. But then again, if somebody wants to work with me, they're going to get the real tone. And they're going to get a stem that's actually coming off of R24 Zoom, which is actually, a wave stem with no MIDI information. It's actually the track. And they're going to have to take that and putting that into their DAW and manipulate it that way. And that's kind of old school, and it maybe doesn't allow them to go take the triggers and turn it into something else. But if I've got an idea in mind and I've got the DFAM, I want you to use that DFAM. Or I want you to use my Arturia, or I want you to use my OPZ. And that's the tone I'm going for. And then you kind of control the use of your material because you don't let somebody just take your pattern and put it into another tool. Now, some people are like, oh, I just want to give them the pattern. And that's fine. But to me, I'm an artist and I want them to have the whole experience. That's my choice. That's the way I work. So if somebody works with me, they're going to get the flavor that I'm trying to create. Because I'm the cook and I don't want you taking my ingredients out and substituting them. But if you want the recipe, you're going to use the full treatment. So I hope everybody checks out what we're doing here. Check out our YouTube video link we're going to put on this, and we'll talk to you later.
Raid to a stage, don't ever know your place. From rage to a stage, don't you ever fade away. Be enraged, don't fade. Don't you ever know your place. Don't act your age. Be enraged. Take action from the page. it to the stage. Make it action from the stage. Bring it to the page. Don't let them tell you to fade away. Don't play their hate games. Fade away. Gotta take that rage from stage and put it on the page. But the enemy, they don't know me. Then the enemy won't let it be. And the enemy in the atrophy, the lack of empathy, got me enraged. Take a rage to the stage and don't turn the page. Don't ever let them tell you to know your place. Don't fade away. We don't feel a fighter back to fight another day. Don't hate. And take the rage to the stage. You like the words on a written page. And implement them every day. And don't ever fade away. Take the words on the page and implement that rage. And show them off stage how you take it. Don't fade away. Don't act your age. Don't ever know your place. Never fade away. Don't play their head game. Rage to the stage and keep them engaged. Take a rage to the stage and I can really come back and fight another day. I can really come back and fight another day. Take a rage to the stage and the words written on the page. Put the enemy engaged. Don't ever make it fade. Take the words to the stage. Put the enemy folks engaged. With the empathy and rage. So they don't turn on the violence but another day. Not fade away. Take the rage to the stage and never fade away. Remain engaged. Never let them tell you that you're just a fade. Know your place. Fight for another day. Don't ever know your place. Don't act your age. Put the rage to the stage. Man, engage. With the enemy on the fade. You're gonna turn the page. Take the rage to the stage. Enemy engaged. If the enemy is afraid, you're gonna take the words from the page. Rage to the stage. Get the enemy engaged. Make you scared that you won't fade away. And you won't know your place. Take the rage to the stage. And get the enemy fucking engaged. Make you all afraid that you won't fade away. Know your place. That's for another day. Never fade away. Don't act and number, don't act your way. Take the rage from the stage and the cage enemy today. Take the rage from the stage. Make them all afraid you don't know your place. Never fade away. What's your number at your age? Don't ever know your place. afraid to be politically engaged and not fade away, not a number, not a accurate. Rage to the stage, make them all turn on fade. Take the rage to the stage, take the enemy folk and make them all afraid. They'll remember your name, not the head game. Not fade away, not a number, don't act your age. Take the rage from the page and put it on stage and make them all afraid. Got the poor folks engaged. Not with the gauge, not with the rage, with the written word on the page. Word on the page, get the poor folks engaged. When it's politically aware that they just don't care, that they're coming down from there and try to make them breathe the air that's not for you. It's not true. And the fog is lost. You wanna make it pay the cost. And the fog is lost. They try to obscure love. And the fog of loss try to make you fear love. Try to obscure at the cost, but not playing a part. Take a rage on the stage and get all the poor folks engaged and make them not afraid that they will not fade away. Take a rage from the page and get the poor folks all engaged. Make them all afraid they won't fade away. Remember your name. All afraid in the way. Remember your rage. Rage on the page. Get the poor folks all engaged. Make the folks all afraid that they will not fade away. Will not fade away. Rage on the stage, get all the poor folks engaged. And the rich folks be afraid, but the written word on the page. Gotta mean something somehow. Gotta mean something somehow. Gotta mean something somehow. Gotta mean something somehow. Gotta mean something right now. Words on the page. Poor folks all engaged. One of rich folks are afraid. They wanna go and race. All the inequities in place. They fade. And you can't fly away. I found your